Here we are today, and we are going to be doing a Grey Cup recap after 3 days after, give you a little bit of time to think about it, and then we're going to talk about something else at the end of this video. So before we start, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or the CFL, whatever the case may be. That being said, let's get on into it. This game was a very interesting game as you saw the Montreal Alouettes, who were underdogs, take on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The first time ever these two franchises had met in the Grey Cup. Crazy to think about considering the fact these two have been around for a while and have some championships that are kind of old and have collected dust, I guess if you want to say that. But nonetheless, this game kicked off and it looked like the Alouettes were the underdog as the Blue Bombers scored the first 10 points of the game, were able to get a double-digit lead. Brady Oliveira, guy that ended up getting a lot of touches in this one, was a factor in that. But the good news is, like we saw in multiple parts of this game, anytime the Blue Bombers were able to gain momentum, Montreal was able to respond fairly quickly to keep themselves in it and allow them a chance to win. So that is William Stanback that gets a big run to score. So it is, instead of it being a 10-0 game, possibly even getting bigger of a lead for Winnipeg, it now becomes 10-7, and the Owls have a little bit of momentum. The bad news is that it doesn't stick around forever, as you would go on to see the Blue Bombers score another touchdown and get a huge goal line stand near the end of the first half, as they would keep the Owls out of the end zone and keep it a 10-point game. A lot of talk is being made about whether or not Montreal should have gone for a field goal there. That was probably valid, especially at that time where the Blue Bombers had a lot of chances to kind of put them away. In the second half, though, Montreal, like I said, was able to respond quickly and efficiently, had some big plays, and you would see, I think it was Cole Speaker get the touchdown. He had multiple big catches in this game, and they would get right back to within striking distance, it being a one-score game, 17-14. And then the defense did their part yet again. Kevion Ento ended up getting an interception in the end zone, keeping Winnipeg, importantly, off the board, and again, keeping momentum on their side. Anytime the Blue Bombers really had a chance to put this game away, the Owls are able to respond quickly and efficiently. Imagine if they don't get that touchdown from Speaker and then the Bombers end up putting up more points and it's 24-7 or 20-7, whatever the case is. You could really be looking at this being a game that the Owls are out of. Instead, the third quarter is pivotal for them going on to win this game, where in the fourth quarter, Austin Mack would give this team their first lead of the game. Obviously a name that you are very aware of at this point of the season. Huge bit of momentum right there for the Owls. You would see Dakota Prukop respond with a rushing touchdown to regain the lead for the Blue Bombers late in the fourth. Winnipeg would actually get the ball back too with a little over, I believe, 3 minutes left in the game. They would have to punt with about 2 minutes left in the game, if I'm not mistaken. This is where things really lock in for the game being crucial and pivotal, and the deciding factors of who won and lost this game were decided in that span for sure. And that's because, just like I said in my Grey Cup preview, talking about the Blue Bombers and their past experience with Chad Kelly, where he had a big, I believe it was second and long or third and long conversion for a first down. You said in that preview, or I said, that you wouldn't want to see Cody Fajardo be in a long yard situation and let him get loose, because he is a guy very well capable of getting some momentum downhill, getting some big yards needed to either get a first down or set his team up for a first down. That's exactly what happens on 2nd and 18. I believe he picks up 13 yards there. 3rd and 5. Cole Speaker, remember me talking about him? He ends up getting a huge catch down the sideline, and that was on 3rd and 5. Looking back at that, that was a great catch, a tough call right there, because I'm not a huge fan of just the fade route, stuff like that, where it's by the sideline, by the numbers, because the DB knows they've got the sideline as their friend, and they probably are going to protect on the inside. You got to put the ball in the right place, otherwise it's an interception, or there's a high chance that it's an incomplete pass. Apparently, Moss said that this was the route to go to. So Moss, of course, being a guy playing chestnut checkers, I guess, is pivotal for this drive staying alive in Montreal's chances to win it. And guess what? That's exactly what Tyson Philpott would do. He would get a 20-yard touchdown, and the ball was on the 20-yard line, so he ended up getting an inside route to score and give the Owls the win, 28-24, as Montreal wins their first championship since 2010. Winnipeg not able to lock up the dynasty status just yet. Now let's talk about some things that I feel like were important in this game. There were a lot of things that were important in this game, if I'm being honest, but I do think, again, Montreal's ability to bend but don't break was really pivotal. They had 7 points in the first half, and they weren't able to score in a goal line situation. That's got to be frustrating. They had some moments where it looked like maybe they could see the game kind of get away from them, but they didn't, and they were able to get in a situation where they're able to win. How were they able to do so? Winnipeg cannot prevent big plays, and I've said before, long drives are nice. However, it doesn't matter if it's a 13-play drive or it's a 2-play drive. As long as it ends in touchdowns, nobody cares if you're on offense. Montreal being that team, there was multiple times where the Owls were able to get those big plays, especially on their last drive. Again, a big run by Cody, a big throw by Cody, and then another big throw by Cody is just a deal. You can't have big plays allowed, and you really can't have them in the same drive, because it probably means the team's going to score. In a situation where Montreal knew they had to go for it on all 3 available plays, the Blue Bombers were not in a great spot. And I'm not going to lie to you, the defense was part of the problem. However, the offense was as well. The interception by Colaros on 1st and goal was atrocious. 1st and goal situation right there. Why you're throwing the ball towards the back end, I get, but if you're going to do it, overthrow it. Don't underthrow it. Underthrown ball on 1st and goal, points you don't get, and the Owls are just, again, pecking away. And the Blue Bombers, led by Colaros and Buck Pierce, don't do anything in the second half. They finish with 7 points in the final 30 minutes of action. Very frustrating for them. As for Winnipeg and what I'm kind of thinking here, first of all, Brady Oliveira, Dalton Schoen, free agents. That stings, because you have to figure out, are we going to pay them? How are we going to pay them? Apparently Oliveira only wants to stay right now and sign a deal if the offensive line can be retained. Makes sense. However, at the same time, apparently he's talking about maybe entertaining the idea of going to the NFL. Brady is a hometown kid, but at the same time too, if a lot of the guys from the O-line leave or the NFL comes a calling, he might go out there and test it. CFL players do it all the time. As for Schoen, he's been a guy that when he's healthy, going to tear up the league. So the Blue Bombers could be losing multiple guys. They are in a spot right now, too, where they don't complete the dynasty status and may never be able to do so. I know that sounds crazy considering their run that they've been on. However, they are old at certain positions, and they have some guys that could play well, but again, a guy like Colaros, is it him or Buck Pierce that's the problem when it comes down to the title game, especially over these past 2 years, and having the offense underperform? I couldn't tell you, but the Blue Bombers may make me look foolish from, a year on out and say, well, we won our 3rd title, we are a dynasty, and a guy like Bush League Broadcast that is a CFL nobody looked really dumb. So I guess we'll see there. As for Montreal, a great success story. Looking at where this team was in 2019, I think it was Dave Naylor that ended up tweeting this out. He talked about the fact that Montreal in 2019 was not in a healthy state as a franchise, and there was grumblings about what's going to happen with this team for the future. Are they going to be in Montreal? Is this going to be the end of the Owls? Now they're in a spot where attendance has gone up, I think, in the past few years. Cody Fajardo is there. They've got a good quarterback. They had, a couple good quarterbacks, but they won their first title in nearly 15 years, and this province, being a province that has some really good U Sports teams for football, Canadian college football, is just awesome. Montreal, obviously, is going to be playing in the Vanier Cup against UBC, so to see them right there and possibly winning the Vanier Cup is absolutely incredible. And I think for the Alouettes, just seeing some guys like Sean Lemon, seeing some guys like Darnell Sankey coming, but especially guys like William Stanback being right there and winning the Grey Cup, so cool and so amazing to see. I do think Fajardo is a great leader, and I think for this Alouette side, while I've been kind of undervaluing what I see in them, going into next year, I'm definitely going to respect them a little bit more. Is this team perfect? Absolutely not. I mean, again, we saw them need a late, last-minute drive to win this game against a team that really kept holding themselves back on how to win this game. But at the same time, their defense was the reason they were being held back. Their offense getting big chunks of plays or big chunks of yards was a big reason that the Blue Bombers weren't able to kind of run away with this one. All that matters right now is they won a title. Are they going to be able to build off that? Are they going to be able to get guys in free agency? Because you had a guy like Danny Machocha, and he said, we had a hard time bringing some guys in during free agency, and people don't want to come to Quebec. probably not the case now, as they're able to win a championship and show that they have a good enough roster that is able to go on a hot run and take down CFL juggernaut. So those are just kind of my thoughts on the Grey Cup, and I guess if you want to stick around for my final thoughts before we end this video, we can do that now. So I just wanted to say, obviously the season is over, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be going anywhere. I plan to put out more videos. I plan to hopefully do 2 a week. I know last season I kind of got away from it in the off season, where I ended up doing like 1 video every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. That's not going to be the case. I also wanted to apologize again for the season recaps, for the weekly recaps. I'm going to try to close those out. That is not the type of person I am where I just leave that stuff untouched. I'm going to go back in all the weeks that I missed for the recaps. I'm going to do a quick review over them. I feel like I'm just so energetic and ready to go for this season. The point that I stopped doing recaps was when I was working almost 60 hours a week, and I was trying to let my job that I work at let me work over 60 hours a week, and they said no. So just, super tired. It was so hot at work. I work a really physical job and there's no AC, so just working all those hours. I know people work more than that, and they probably work in conditions way worse than mine, so before you get your comment typed up, whatever, I'm aware. However, I just feel like that was kind of the reason I stopped. That doesn't mean that I'm any less passionate about this. I'm so passionate about it, ready to go into the off-season. I'm not going to promise any grand videos like I did going into last off-season. However, I will say this, going to try to do recaps, going to talk about season reviews, and then maybe, just maybe if we have some time, do some fun videos going into the start of next season, and we'll be back again for more. But if you want to see me a little bit more often, do some TikToks, and I also have an Instagram account, which is the birthplace of all this stuff that is CFL related. So please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new. Also, tell me what you thought of the Grey Cup. Everybody stay safe and have a great night.